My dear friends and students, welcome to Gururam channel. In this video, I have explained 10th standard Maths English medium contents. Make use of it. Definitely you will be benefited. If you like this video, click subscribe button and also click bell button. You will get all notifications. Thank you. Good evening, students. Today we are going to see exercise 6.1. First question. Prove the following identities. Cot theta plus tan theta equal to secant theta into cosecant theta. We have to prove. This is LHS and this is RHS. First, take LHS. Cot theta plus tan theta. First, you revise all identities. Afterly, you go through this exercise. Cot theta means what? Cos theta by sin theta. Tan theta means sin theta by cos theta. After, first you write it cos theta by sin theta plus sin theta by cos theta. After you take LCM, that is you have to write it as sin theta into cos theta. Cross multiply cos theta into cos theta, cos squared theta. Sin theta into sin theta, sin squared theta. We already know the identity cos squared theta plus sin squared theta equal to 1. So write it 1 by sin theta and cos theta and separate the term 1 by sin theta into 1 by cos theta. 1 by sin theta is cosecant theta, 1 by cos theta is secant theta. So we proved secant theta, so that implies we can write secant theta and cosecant theta also for RHS. So hence proved. Question. Tan power 4 theta plus tan squared theta equal to secant power 4 theta minus secant squared theta. First write LHS. Tan power 4 theta and tan squared theta, we take it the common tan squared theta. And inside the bracket you write it tan squared theta. If we multiply tan squared into tan squared, tan power 4 theta will come. And tan squared theta plus 1, tan squared theta will come. So within the bracket you write it tan squared theta plus 1. After tan squared theta write it. So identity 1 plus tan squared theta equal to secant squared theta. So write it tan squared theta into secant squared theta. You see RHS also, here both are secant. So you convert this tan squared theta, you use the identity tan squared theta equal to. So first you know that secant squared theta minus tan squared theta equal to 1. We need here secant squared theta. So 1, you write it tan squared theta equal to secant squared theta minus 1. That is tan squared theta. So within the bracket you write it secant squared theta minus 1 and outside secant squared theta is there. Now you multiply secant squared into secant squared, secant power 4. Minus 1 into secant squared minus secant squared theta. Hence it is proved. That is secant power 4 theta minus secant squared theta. Second question also prove only. That is 1 minus tan squared theta by cot squared theta minus 1 equal to, we will prove tan squared theta. So 1 minus tan squared theta by cot squared theta minus 1, you first you write it. So next 1 minus tan squared theta, write it. Denominator, cot means what? 1 by tan. So 1 by tan squared theta minus 1, write it. After you cross multiply tan squared theta into 1 tan squared theta. So 1 minus tan squared theta by tan squared theta. Next, you take this denominator to the numerator. So that tan squared theta will come. That is this one, tan squared theta will come. And already 1 minus tan squared theta is there. So in the numerator, 1 minus tan squared theta into tan squared theta is there, and denominator 1 minus tan squared theta is there. So you cancel it, numerator and denominator, this one and this one. What is the remaining term? Tan power 2, that is tan squared theta is the remaining. That is the answer, hence proved. Question, cos theta by 1 plus sin theta equal to secant theta minus tan theta. Take LHS, cos theta by 1 plus sin theta. Here you take it a conjugate of 1 plus sin theta. What is that? 1 minus sin theta. So you multiply that numerator and denominator, multiply with 1 minus sin theta by 1 minus sin theta. Here that denominator will become 1 minus sin squared theta, because a plus b into a minus b. Next, in numerator cos theta into 1 minus sin theta is there. So already you know that 1 minus sin squared theta is what? Cos squared theta. So next step, you write it in the denominator cos squared theta. After you cancel it, that cos theta and cos squared theta means, squared means one power is goes on. So remaining cos theta is there. So next step, you write it 1 minus sin theta by cos theta. Separate the term, 1 minus cos theta minus sin theta by cos theta will come. 1 by cos is secant and sin by cos is tan. Therefore, RHS secant theta minus tan theta. Hence proved. Any doubt, you write it in comment box. Next one, prove the identities. Square root of 1 plus sin theta by 1 minus sin theta. So here already we did in the previous sum that the denominator 1 minus sin theta is there. What is the conjugate of 1 minus sin theta? That is 1 plus sin theta. So you multiply numerator and denominator with 1 plus sin theta. Therefore 1 plus sin theta into 1 plus sin theta will come 1 plus sin theta whole squared, and 1 minus sin theta into 1 plus sin theta, that is a minus b into a plus b, a squared minus b squared, that is 1 minus sin squared theta. So 1 plus sin theta whole squared, you write it in numerator with the square root by 1 minus sin squared theta means what? Cos squared theta. Cos squared theta. So our rule is that is squared and that is the square root symbol, that is off. 2 into 1 by 2, that means. So cancel it. So that remaining 1 plus sin theta will come. And here also cos squared theta means, how will you write it? That cos squared theta, cos theta whole squared. That means cos squared theta. So that is squared and this square root, both will cancel. So remaining here also the denominator cos theta. So our result is 1 plus sin theta by cos theta. Here also you separate the term, 1 by cos theta is what? Secant theta. Sin theta plus by cos theta is tan theta. That is our RHS. Is it clear? Hence proved. Next question. square root of 1 plus sin theta by 1 minus sin theta plus square root of 1 minus sin theta by 1 plus sin theta. We have to prove 2 secant theta. Already you know that first square root conjugate is 1 minus sin theta conjugate is 1 plus sin theta. Next one 1 plus sin theta conjugate is 1 minus sin theta. After you multiply same 1 plus sin theta whole squared 1 minus sin squared theta. And next one 1 minus sin theta whole squared by 1 minus sin squared theta. Next 1 plus sin theta whole squared and that square root will cancel. Here also cos squared theta means square root of cos squared theta, and 1 minus sin theta whole squared also what? That squared and square root will cancel. Here you see that same step here cancel. So cos squared theta, already I told that cos squared theta square root means that is cos theta whole squared. So that whole squared means that is 2 and square root will cancel. So that remaining 1 plus sin theta by cos theta plus 1 minus sin theta by cos theta. So here cos theta, write it in the denominator. So numerator 1 plus sin theta plus 1 minus sin theta is there. Sin theta plus sin theta minus sin theta will cancel. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. 2 by cos theta. 1 by cos is secant. Therefore 2 secant theta is the answer. Next, prove the following identities. Secant power 6 theta equal to tan power 6 theta plus 3 tan squared theta secant squared theta plus 1. So take as usual that LHS. So first that is 6. So you can write it as secant squared theta whole cube, because a power m in whole to the power n is a to the power mn. You can multiply 2 into 3, 6 will come. So after you change the identity secant squared theta, how to write in tan squared theta form? 1 plus tan squared theta is secant squared theta whole cube. Here we use this identity a plus b whole cube equal to a cube plus 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cube. What is a here? A is 1 and b is tan squared theta. So you can write it in this formula in simplified form, that is a cube. 3ab you take it common, inside the bracket that a plus b cube. Like that you write it a value 1 and b value tan squared theta. A plus b value 1 plus tan squared theta plus b cube value tan squared theta whole cube. First 1 cube is 1 plus 3 tan squared theta. 1 plus tan squared is secant squared plus tan power 6 theta. So rewrite that sentence, rewrite in order. Tan power 6, that is standard form, tan power 6 theta plus 3 tan squared theta secant squared theta plus 1. That is the RHS, hence proved. Question: sin theta plus secant theta whole square plus cos theta plus cosecant theta, that is whole square. We have to prove it. 1 plus secant theta plus cosecant theta, that is secant theta plus cosecant theta is within the bracket. Okay, first a plus b whole squared, that form you expand it to these two terms. Okay, sin squared theta plus 2 sin theta secant theta plus secant squared theta, and second term cos squared theta plus 2 cos theta cosecant theta. Cosecant theta plus cosecant squared theta. So you add these two terms, sin squared theta plus cos squared theta will come, secant squared theta plus cosecant squared theta will come, and plus 2 sin theta secant theta is there. So you can write it as sin theta into secant theta 1 by cos theta, write it. Cosecant theta 1 by sin theta, write it. So next term, sin squared theta plus cos squared theta is what? 1. And secant squared theta plus cosecant squared theta plus 2 into here sin by cos and here cos by sin. So 1 plus secant squared theta plus cosecant squared theta plus 2 by here LCM cos theta sin theta, write it in denominator, and cross multiply sin theta into sin theta sin squared theta, cos theta into cos theta cos squared theta. So sin squared theta plus cos squared theta will come, that is the identity 1. So 1 by cos theta into sin theta, write it. Here 1 plus secant squared theta plus cosecant squared theta plus 2 into 1 by cos theta sin theta. That is 1 by cos is what? Secant. 1 by sin is cosecant. So all you write it as secant here. Next line 1 plus bracket of secant squared theta plus cosecant squared theta plus 2 secant theta into cosecant theta. That is what? A plus B whole squared only. That is 1 plus secant theta plus cosecant theta whole square. That is RHS. Hence proved. First you revise these 4 sums and we will meet in next class, that is 5th sum onwards. Thank you.